Well, welcome everyone to the Commercial Financing Website Webinar. My name is Durante Parks, and I'll be your host this evening. I'll be presenting and sharing with you the content in this actual presentation. And before we get too far, let me just give you a little information about myself, the backstory as to how these websites actually came about. I've had 40 years experience in financing and investing, and I was mentored by a retired banker for 3.5 years. I've done business acquisitions, purchasing businesses on leverage buyout strategies. I purchased commercial properties, did a leverage buyout with a manufacturing process in factory in Michigan. And I've structured and negotiated a lot of deals. I've actually put together financing programs for a private trust. And I highly understand the high leverage financing strategies. And during my career, I've done over $600 million in commercial transactions. Now, today, I'm retired as of 2022, and I began developing a virtual office for myself initially so I could do some deals pretty quickly without having a physical office. So I began developing a virtual office to work from, to do little quick deals, flips and paper capers and that kind of stuff. And then I realized, after working with a few partners and joint venture people and students, that they needed the same resources so we could all be on the same page doing the same thing pretty much. And then I integrated a web hosting business, and I kind of merged all of these things together, and I began designing niche websites for my different partners in the different sectors so that they could all have the tools to joint venture with, to do deals with, making offers, structuring deals, running analysis, dealing with lenders. And that was how my virtual office came about. And basically what we have now is 6 niche sites that are structured specifically for strategic purposes. And I've included into all of my web hosting services the training and software courses. And of course, I'm a partner with anyone that wants to do a partnership deal. Because remember, I'm in a retirement mode, and joint venturing with an individual is perfect for me. All right. Now, what I've created during my career are courses and products. This is my financing masterclass. It's a 9-hour video course on commercial financing and investing. It deals with the science, the art, and the business. And if you look at the top of the screen here, you will actually see those components here. It begins with perspective. That means you have to think right and see things correctly. Objective, knowing what you want. The science of financing, the business of financing, the art of financing, and then the various financing formulas is included in this particular course. And of course, we have our financing document creator. Now, this is the software that I developed that has everything I need to do the deals that I'm doing. Whether I'm going to make an offer, deal with a client, a consulting agreement, a joint venture agreement, or even if I want to do an arbitrage deal, discounting paper, triggering discounts, and structuring arbitrage deals. This software does that, and I've integrated it into our package. You're going to actually see it as we go through the webinar here. And then I have a commercial paper power course, and that's about structuring notes and creating paper transactions. And it's all about real estate financing and all of this. Now remember, I'm in a retired mode, so what I've done is I've taken everything that I've actually done, the courses, the software, the strategies, everything, and I've integrated it into my web hosting websites as the virtual office or in the back office, okay? And having said that, I'm going to just jump right into the website webinar and get it going. Just want to give you a little introduction into myself and a little bit about me. Now, these websites are designed for project funding, for realtors, financiers, investors, and even wholesalers. And what we're going to do here is do a little deep dive into these and really look behind the scenes. Now, first of all, I want you to realize that financing is the business, okay, not the hobby, but the business of buying and selling money and nothing else. It's a game of moves and counter moves, buyers and sellers. That's your actual market. The thing is you're either buyers or borrowers who buy money from lenders. Okay. Sellers are sellers who sell lender programs. And the twist on this is that buyers do not make money. Sellers always do. Buyers never will. We like for them to think they will. But the truth is, making profits from buying is not in the buying equation. All right. So that's what financing is at the core. So what you have to decide, just like I do, if I want to buy some property, I'm a buyer and I can leverage it up to 90%, sometimes even 100, even 110 through strategies and negotiating. But at the end of the day, I'm leaving with a coupon book and debt. But when I'm selling money, I end up with a profit, because when I sell money, I'm basically selling a service, not a property. All right. So what we're going to look at are some websites that we've developed specifically for certain activities. And we have a business financing website that we're going to look at. Now, this is all about business financing for small businesses. Most of these are going to basically be short-term loans. And the benefit in having short-term program is that they close fast. You have a client who has a Pizza Hut or a restaurant who calls you Monday and he needs $300,000-$500,000 to meet his payroll, which is Friday. You have to have a funder who can close that real quick. And that's the benefit, one of the benefits in small business funding, is that it's fast. 90% of it is hard money, which is fast money, and it's easy. And we have a system with our business financing set up where the lender, the portal, and everything is actually in the website. So you don't have to go find a lender or hunt for a lender. You even have a direct access to a lender. It's not a JV deal where you're running deals through us. You work directly with the lender. The lender actually gives you your own back office where you can log in and look at the status of the deals that you have driven to your website that are now in the lender's funnel. So you get to work directly and not indirectly. So you don't even have to call the lender. And with this business financing, you don't even have to talk to the client. You simply send them to the website. It's really cool. And the reason this is our first website that we recommend is because you can set this up and it can be working for you while you're learning the other strategies and going through the different courses. All right. Second is a commercial financing website. This is selling commercial loans. You set the parameters on that, whether you want to do, basically 4 types of financing: new construction, acquisitions, refinancing, and rehabs. Now, in terms of you picking a lender and all that, you have a path and the tools in the back office, which we'll see later, on how to actually do that. But you have to set some parameters. Whether you want to do deals from $1 million to $20 million, you set that. Whether you want to do deals from $500,000 to $1 million, you set that. Whether you want to do deals from $20 million to $60 million, you determine that. And whether you want to focus on, say, apartments, multifamily only, or nursing homes, or student housing, or even net lease properties, you determine that. You have to pick the sector and the space and the place that you want to actually operate in. But the commercial financing website is basically for selling commercial loans. Additionally, in addition to selling commercial loans, you can actually use the training and the resources that are actually included in the site for purchasing your own properties also. Okay, so it's not just about selling money and financing for others. You also have the ability to actually use the resources for your own acquisitions. We also have a property investors website. That's for individuals who make offers on income producing properties. Say like you go to LoopNet and you want to make 4 offers on 4 properties. And this website is set up for that specific activity. And we're going to take a look at that one also. And then we have a local property flipping funnel, which is used for flipping properties. And the objective of it is a funnel because what it actually does, it attracts cash buyers. And as they come through the funnel, you sort out the cash buyers from the non-cash buyers, the players from the non-players, the jokers from the brokers, and you create a very interesting mailing list of realtors, cash buyers, investors who aren't cash buyers, and brokers all at once. It actually sorts it out. And ultimately what you want are the cash buyers, and you basically flip properties to the cash buyers. Now this site is set up based on one of the courses that are in the back office called the Local Property Flip course. It's a course that I've created that's in the back office that outlines all of the steps. So we're going to take a look at that site also. And then we have a residential to investor JV site, which is based on a strategy of you joint venturing with a residential investor, taking them into their first property as a coach, as a director. You're not going to find the properties. That's not the objective. The objective is for you to help a residential investor, not a beginner, but a residential investor who has some single family home properties, possibly, move from residential into commercial investing, and you're going to assist and direct him in that. And the joint venture is that you're going to do it for a fee and for an equity position in the properties, which means if you have 10 people buy 10 properties, you will end up with a 10% ownership in the 10 properties. With this program, you also set the framework, whether you want your minimum loan $1 million, your minimum loan $2 million. We suggest and recommend that you stay in the multifamily sector, not to go into hotels, net lease, data center, or any of the off-the-main grid. You want to stay in what is the natural flow of progression for the residential investor. This website is set up for that purpose, okay? And then we have an all-in-one, a total business site, which is basically one website that has all of these built into it, and it can be structured several ways. And lastly, we have the large project financing website, and that's for projects. If very few people go here, we like to do this with you as a joint venture, because these projects are structured completely different from typical real estate deals. And they basically start at $50 million. That's the entry point. And we have the funders in place. And these are the kind of projects that I would love to joint venture with you on. But it's the last one, project website that we have. And that's a completely different animal. And then, of course, we have our back office, which is included. And we're going to actually take a tour of these websites. All right. Now, what do the sites actually cost? I want to show you some figures that I've got from some bids on what it costs to actually build one of the websites. All right. Because I was awed at it. And that means even with these prices, it's a single site, no software, no applications, no forms, and no content. And my first bid for building the site that I built, I basically asked these guys and gave them the website and told them to give me a bid on duplicating the site. And these are the numbers I got. 5,000 to 3,000. I was just amazed. 4,000. Basically, the average was about $4,000. All right. And here, 5,600. I want you to notice that all of these are Pakistani and Ukraine countries here. You can see here, this is out of Pakistan. And the reason I'm showing you this, I want you to understand the value of what I'm going to actually show you and what you're going to see, so you won't have any misconceptions about it. And these are just framework prices from actual bids to do this site a few weeks ago. Yeah. All right. Now, I want to show you the cost. You said, well, you haven't even seen the site. Well, I want to show you the site. I want to show you this first, though. All right. So our after launch sites, well, these are the low end prices. The consultant site will be $2,800. The business financing site will be $1,500. The investor site and other prices. Okay. Now, in this webinar, You're not going to pay nowhere near that. But before I show you the prices, I think I better show you the actual site. So let's go back up here and look at the sites and take a look here. And we're going to start first with the virtual office. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to bring this up and actually show it to you. I'm going to log in to the virtual office right quick. Okay. And this is the back office. Now this is included on all of the websites. All right. It's going to be brief on this, but here's where you connect that business funnel with that lender. You come here and download the documents and do the dance. And what you end up with is a portal like this where it'll keep up with your loans and you can actually see the status of them in here. All right. And then next, the main thing is you want to follow the steps. Step 1, step 2, step by step, step 3, step 4, step 5, and you basically, follow the steps. If you're looking for research, you got all of that in here, title companies and all that stuff. Everything you need to actually do some deals, whether they are selling lenders programs or securing financing for yourself. And we have ad listings, but this is what's in the virtual office. It's laid out like this, a lot of tools and resources in here. So if we come like under the training programs, that masterclass is listed here, in here. And all you do is click the link and access the course and get right into the video. So let's see how this works here. Let's see how this looks. If it'll come up in the screen here. All right. Yeah, there you go. So there's the masterclass. And it's, it's 9 hours of content. That's one that we have. And the other program we have in here for training is straight line persuasion course. That's about selling your stuff, knowing how to price and sell your services and close. And we have a script writer. And then here's that local property flipping course that I was telling you about, that we have a site that works with it. And you click that and it basically brings this course up. And it goes through this process of how to actually structure local property flips. So everything is pretty straightforward and easy here in the virtual office. And you have the document creator tutorials, data bank software, and the loan packaging and pre-underwriting software. Now, you also have on the front end a web page for actually selling this service. So this can be a fee-based service here. Okay. That's what I've sold them for as much as $3,000. Okay. And they're easy sales because you can position this product or this service where it's any deals or individuals that are looking for more than 85% LTV financing. You can require that they have to have their package professionally packaged and underwritten on all deals over 80% LTV. So what about deal over 85% LTV? Well, what about deals over 80%? You yourself can require that all deals up to 80% have to be professionally packaged. So what do you charge for that? $300, $400, $500. And deals over 80% LTV from 85 or from 81 up to 99% financing have to be pre-underwritten. Who determines that? You determine that. How did you learn that? You learned that in this course here on how to sell your products and services and how to price them appropriately. All right. Now, so it's a lot in here. Remember, I initially built this for me. I didn't build it in my partners. So we're doing joint ventures. If we're doing a large project funding deal and they have to have a website, they can go into their website. I can tell them where to go, what to do. They can come in here and do the dance and do what needs to be done. And that gives them that personal power, which is what we all want. All right. Now, we have here a weekly coaching sessions and mentoring calls for our group, everyone that has a website. And it's a lot in here. I could spend probably 2 hours going through all this, but we are not going to do that. But it's to give you a taste of actually what's available here. Now, let's talk over here. These are my magic tools. This is that document creator, and you can use it. And what we do, we click the button, and when we have a client that wants us to work for him, we execute this agreement, and we can save the agreement. We want to make some offers on some income producing properties. This works with that income producing investor website. We come here and make the LOIs and shoot them out. If we're dealing with a property and we know that the underlying mortgages are going to be paid off, we use this document to trigger a discount on the payoff. So if on a $2 million note, you get the payoff ends up being $1.8 million instead of $2 million, you pick up a $200,000 profit in addition to fees simply from triggering this certification letter, which actually locks down the discount. And if you're working with a lender who doesn't have a contractor's agreement to protect you, you come in here and you present it, and you can actually create it. You can create everything here with the document creator that you need to do in a deal. So let's take a look quickly here. Like this is what the interface looks like. You simply fill in the blanks. And what it does, after you fill in the blanks, it actually creates the document. So I'm going to show you a saved one. I think that's, yeah. Like here, this is a saved consulting agreement. And if we want to preview it, we click here. And now, like if we wanted to edit this, we would come here and edit it. So we don't have to recreate it. And we click here, and that's what the document looks like. This is 6 pages. Has all of the legalese and all the protections in it. All right. And the same with the LOI creator. We come here, we look at the LOIs, we create them just like this, simply fill in the blank. Now, you want to go through the training on this because there's some little smooth operator stuff in here that you want to know about. Like here are the terms. You have your choice here. And the one I use the most, if I'm on LoopNet making offers, I make full price offers with this document, not a contract. And the reason I use a document, the LOI versus a contract, I have no liability exposure and it doesn't require any capital to do it. All right. So I come here, I can do all kinds of stuff for flips. Like when I'm dealing with the local property flipping stuff, I come here and this is what I actually do. I actually come here and create the LOI, and I don't put the person's name in it, the buyer's name. I put the buyer's name in it because I know who it is. He said, "What did you find the buyer?" I found the buyer on Craigslist following the off-market property course. So I put the buyer's name and information in here. And the state, it's local, so for me it'll be Georgia. And the seller's name is going to be me. So I fill all of this out. And here's what I do. I create this document, fill out the terms and everything. And then what I don't fill out is I won't fill out this. I don't put a property address in because I don't know that. Now, once I know a property address, I enter the property address, and the seller has to enter into his document the price and the address of the property. But I give him the form to work with, and he can do that manually. All right. So that's what the document creator does. And the same with the certification letter, with the trigger the discounts on the payoffs. It looks like this. And what's neat about this is kind of like a holder. It doesn't have my name on it. It doesn't have your name on it. And the only person that actually gets this document is the actual escrow agent. And he pays, in other words, on the $2 million note, this document allows and authorizes the escrow agent to pay 1.8 for it instead of $2 million. All right. So that's what this is for. So the point being is the back office by itself is a very complete business system in its own. So you need a closing agent. You want to tap into the lender marketplace and find a lender. You have that here. You have everything you need to do deals. The challenge is deciding what it is you want to do. That's what most people have a problem with. But we have a little program that I stuck in here that helps you do that. So you have in this marketplace, you have a business marketplace, a real estate marketplace, and a business lending marketplace. And then you have down here general lenders. A lot of it depends on what it is you're trying to do and what you're targeting for. All right. So here is a video, it will probably be a video like this one, not necessarily this one, because the back office is dynamic. It's constantly being updated. If there's something I need to add to it, what we want you to do and would like for you to do is to come here and shoot it to me. And if you like what you see, tell us what you think. So this is the back office. We're not going to go into all of this on this particular video. We want to get back to our website. So this is the back office. And the thing is, the back office here, you don't need a front office to generate capital with this, because you got to remember, coming out the door, you get the business financing module that's actually integrated in to your back office. Your lender here, connect your business funnel, and he will launch your first ad campaign. So what you do, you connect with the business lender, get your back office like that, get that out the way, punch it out. Then you come here and you copy which sector. Now I'll tell you exactly how to do this, because what you want to do is you want to have a conversation with the lender and find out what loans are the most popular. You may find out if it's business credit lines. And the thing about the business credit lines, guys, is that the business credit lines is a product you can market to single family home investors who do the fix and flip stuff. So instead of using hard money lenders, they can get a business line of credit and simply pay cash for their properties using a business line of credit. And you profit every time they use it. All right. So you can market this that way. Or if you decide you want to do equipment financing, fleet financing for equipment, and the loans are from 5 to 5 million, you simply come here and copy that ad. You would, of course, put your website in here and your phone number, but all of the instructions for doing this are in here in terms of the launching your campaign, because we have a right here, a download sheet. You just pull it down and it walks you through the entire process. All right. So that's what's here. Then you copy that ad. Then you come here and you have 15 free ad sources. I've had nothing but great success using Craigslist. I haven't used any of the other, ever had to use any of the other sources. So for business loans, I've had good success. And with my local cash buyers, I've had good success using Craigslist. All right, just a hint. And here is a video that I've created on You Help Me Help You Help You. In other words, you either help me buy a property or I'll help you. And in that, these two videos, you're going to learn something about structuring deals and how to put deals together. Whether you want to buy a property or a portfolio of properties, we had 100% financing. This is what's covered here in these videos. And if you want me to help you buy a property, that's in the videos also. So it's, as I said, let me help you or you help me. In other words, when you get a client who wants to buy something, if he doesn't want to buy, see if he wants to joint venture with you on something. And if you want to joint venture, you want to buy, ideally these work extremely well on mini storage facilities. If you want to buy a mini storage facility and you want to structure a 100% financing deal, this shows you how to structure that deal. Okay. So that's in here too. And then here we have a link to some of our websites, some that are for sale, some that are for rent, the different funnels and stuff to think about. These are sites that can be actually rented yet for lease. You can lease these sites. All right. But that's in here. And as I said, it's a lot of resources here. So you get the master class. These are training courses, straight line. This is about selling your stock. And it's a few hours, guys. This isn't, this isn't an AI click it, get it. These are strategies for execution and implementation. And this course here is about writing scripts if you need to. And of course, the local property flip, which has a website that works with it. And then again, the financing document. These are the tutorials. The other software we have is the financing database. May not need that today, but if you want, it's there, all for the taking. And of course, we have the loan packaging software. And this is all a Windows-based program, so it won't run on a Mac. You just click here and download and install it, And then we're going to show you the websites that complement and work with these. So these are the lenders-related stuff, niche lenders, research resources. And when I do the local property flip, I usually come in here in the government research. And I've always been able to find a property that I'm looking for from the government REO list. Typical example, property government has a 285 unit apartment complex for sale for $4 million. And I show it to my cash buyer that I got from Craigslist, and he offers me $3.2 million for it. Then I go back to HUD and I ask the government, hey, on this property, I don't make offers, I ask questions, hint, hint. And I asked the government agent, what is the bottom line price, the best bottom line price you can give me on this property on the 30-day close with no cash, with no contingencies, and an all cash closing? And they came back and they've done it twice. And the $4 million property came back, they said they'll take $3 million for it, not a dime less. I already have an offer in my hand from a cash buyer for 3.2. I pick up $200,000 profits, not fees, no lender needed, no financing needed, $200,000 in 29 days doing a local property flip. And then I come here and I pick the title company that I'm going to use. I use Georgia Title to close my deal. All right. And then if I need an escrow service, I have those in here too. But usually I use a title company, my local title company, because they are attorneys, they are legal, they're at the courthouse, and they do provide the escrow service also. Pretty cool. All right. And then here's some suggestions on vetting if you're dealing with lenders or even people, vet the people here. And then again, here are more generic ads, social media platforms for marketing your services, list of the national media, real estate forums and user groups, the national REO groups, free classified ad listings again, autoresponders for email marketing if you're going to do that. And then here we have some other programs, loan brokering 101, structuring six-figure formulas, identifying and creating arbitrage opportunities, and making money, making offers. And these are just some of the topics and training in here. And of course, here we have our support services, the Web Academy, the Web Schools, and these are just resources you may or may not want to use, but they are available. And here is our new animal, the large project funding, deals from $50 million to $2 billion. You want to do one of these, at least give it your best effort, give it a shot and understand it. But don't start and reach for this. It's a completely different animal. And then we have the large project funding lenders, and then joint venture partners. Now, a lot of these things are loaded. Some of them aren't. They're upcoming and being populated. All right. But that's basically what's in your back office here. And of course, you have a forms library. And in your forms library, as you see here, it has 36 active forms. And of course, you can cut them on or off. And this website is pretty basic. It's not a full-blown site at all. It was created specifically for this webinar. Now, let's go back to log out of here. And let's go back to our websites. Now, so we had a really quick tour of the back office. And now let's look at these sites real quick. Now, this is the business financing website. We're going to go in here and let's take a look at this site. This is what it looks like on the front end. All right. And here's the funnel. Now, this is the site that connects with the lender. Now, this cookie consent form, you want to get one of these. If you get a site, you want to have this on here because you can get fined pretty heavily for not having it. All right. So you have Fast Capital. Now your client comes here, clicks this, and he can look here at the types of programs that this is. You have here the credit lines. Same here, content. I want you to notice there's a button on all of them. This one button links to the same place for all of them, because what it does, it drives them straight to the lender's portal. But before it gets to the lender portal, you get their name and email address and company's name before they go to your lender's portal. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Because if you don't, you'll never know who went to the portal. So this gives you a chance to build a list and to keep up with the traffic. And you simply compare your clients or prospects in your lender portal with the ones that are actually on your website. So you'll see that you got no sign-ups from the lender portal, but you got 8 people that came here and clicked this link, but they didn't complete the process. You're able to reach back, reach out to them with a warm call, not a cold call, to find out if they had a problem with the site or whatever. Now, I'm going to share something with you. When you use this, the way this works with this business loan program, in the background, the lender automatically begins processing and sizing the loan as they fill out the data. All right. So it's not a plaything. You don't want to play with it because it's live. If you use your lender portal and you fill it out, say you're testing it, then tomorrow morning your phone's going to ring. It'll be from the bank calling up to verify the submission with questions to confirm, one, that you submitted, and that process starts. So it's not something you play with. Under the business financing, you have here what it is, even for real estate, from $250,000 to $15 million. All right. And the same thing, to click to apply. Equipment financing, same, for $500,000 to $5 million. And remember, we're talking about these deals close in 10, 5, some of them same day funding, from 5 to 10 days. Usually within 2 weeks, because the money is needed different. It's different than a real estate loan. They're business loans. People got payrolls to meet. They got accounts receivables to pay and that kind of stuff. Now here, you get some zero down purchases on the equipment. And then there's a credit builder program. Probably remove that. Doesn't get much activity. All right. So you come here, and on this page, remember this is just the front page. The frequently asked questions, are you a broker? Basic stuff here. Do you charge fees? All the stuff. Just answer the questions. Nothing complicated. Full disclosure here. And an actual contact form if they want to contact you. All right. Now, how this works. Let me show you how this works. And this is the business funnel. Everyone should have one of these at the very minimum, because it's self-funding and it's fast. It's basically having a hard money loan program in and outside of the commercial real estate market. So you click here, and you're going to go to a page, and here is where we're going to do some sorting here. All right. You want brokers. See, with this particular business funnel, you can't really work with brokers because they can't supply the information that you're going to need. So we pull them to the side right here, and we give them some other options. But borrowers, they come here, and what you're going to do here with the borrowers, you're going to get some information from them. You're going to get their name, the attorneys, and some general information, the loan amount, and the company borrowing name. You want to know that, because if I fill this out in my name, Durante Parks, and I go over and I apply for the loan, and it's in the name of Paradise Bridge Development Corp., you won't make the connection. You won't know who I am. All right. So this fixes that. So what we do, we actually come in here, fill the thing out. Okay. And we're going to be a borrower, and we are requesting, we'll just say $4 million. All right. And there's my name. I put my company name in here. Click the capture, hit submit, and this is where I go straight to the lender's portal. Now, I want you to notice, the first question is asked is how much money I want. So when I enter this amount, the lender begins sizing this loan as I enter the data. And as I was saying, it's live, so I don't want to play with it. All right. But that's what's in here under the business funnel. And that's part of how it works. Okay. So it's set up in the back office on it is the same as the one we saw earlier. All of the sites have a back office. All right. And what we do is from this particular website, we'll just come in, and what we'll do is we will begin the process of running ads to our website. And we start here with our ad campaigns. And what you do, and what we suggest you do, I suggest you call the lender that we're working with and with the agent and find out what are the most popular loans, because if the most popular loans that they're closing the most of are equipment financing loans, you want to run some of those ads. That's why. Even though they can do all of this other stuff, you don't want to do all of the other stuff. You want to do one thing and one thing consistently and to actually scale it. So that's how that works in the back office here. Now, so that takes care of the business financing site. Now, in terms of pages, you can look here on this site, and this site has 16 pages on it, and you probably can eliminate half of them, but it's a funnel, and it's real lean, real clean, and very effective. Now, what I want you to remember and to realize in terms of value is this back office is of extreme value because of what you can actually do with it. And it's just built into the website. All right, so let's go to our next one here. Our next site is a commercial financing website. Now, I want you to notice on the business funnel, there were no external links to any pages. Okay, make sure you see that. In other words, there's no click here across the top. It's a funnel. You can only apply. That's it. You can't, it's no whole lot of stuff. And answer some basic questions and a place to contact you. So you don't have all these links across the top. It's a funnel, and it sorts and segments your visitors. And all you have to do is drive visitors to the actual website. Pretty cool. All right. Now, we're going to look now at the sister site of the business financing site, which is the commercial financing site. Now, this site is all about commercial loans. All right. This is what it looks like. New construction, acquisition, refis. And these are services that have sales pages with them that you can actually sell or require. Now, I'm going to suggest that you have to focus on selling your services in what I call pre-closing profits, so you don't work for free. If so, you're going to be spending a lot of time looking at packages on the phone and not making a dime. You do not want to do that. When you do that, you're actually getting played rather than getting paid. So what have we done? We've repositioned some things here. So let's go through this quickly here. You have loan programs, and you have a business loan program in here. So if you were to just own this website, it comes with a business funnel built into it. See? On the same site. That's how it works. All right. And you have the real estate loans, new construction, and you have hard money loans. Now, and these are just the programs. In here, about the real estate loans, you got cash flow based financing. That's financing based on income. The value is determined based on income, and an application link to the program here. And multifamily, if you want to do that, that's fine. Here's some terms. And of course, again, there's a sign-in form. If you want to do office, it's the same thing. General terms on the programs. Industrial, that's fine. You can do that if you choose to. And here, condos and scattered loans. And you can do those if you choose to also. So you can pretty much do, under your real estate loans, all kind of real estate loans. And then we have this new construction. And the reason we do new construction separately is because new constructions are basically hard money loans. The rules are a little different, but they are faster. And new construction, which is basically developers, even of single-family home communities or multifamily properties, new construction loans are basically short-term loans, hard money loans. Usually don't go more than 24 months on these loans. And new construction buyers, developers, are probably one of the most qualified group of clients you're going to find. They're typically more qualified than investors. So you got new construction is the most qualified. Well, then the second most qualified would be developers. The first most qualified are going to be actual property owners and refis, because the only person who can do a refi is an actual owner. And a person doing a refi doesn't have to have credit requirements and doesn't have to put down payment money down. Now, when you're dealing with these other real estate loans, acquisitions, these people have to qualify. I mean, they just do. It's just a game. All right. And so you have these loan programs and you have hard money programs too, because hard money is fast money. And you got hard money new construction, you got bridge loans, bailout loans, fix and flip hard money loans. And you have quite a few of them to actually work with here. It's a residential rehab. But my point being is you have everything you need to start a financing business of some sort, right? All right. So these are the programs. Now you can add and remove whatever we want relatively easily. All right. Now, here are your professional services. Now, these are the services that you can sell before a closing. All right. You do a free consultation, and that's the whole purpose of that, is to talk with a person and see if you can help them. That's all it's for. And to establish a rapport and a conversation. All right. You have a loan packaging service, which we talk about, and you have the software to go with it. This is the actual sales page that you're going to use. You will use. You don't have to write this. It's done. It comes with the package here. Of course, a few questions. You just answer them. Nothing hidden. Everything's full disclosure here. All right. And you have them to call you. You don't want to put on here $500, $2,000. You want them to call you. Why? Once you're on the phone and the person says and you've done what you're supposed to do and they want to order it, they're going to ask you, how much is it? And you say it's $3,500. And they say, well, I can't do that. That's a little steep. You say, well, what can you do? I can cut you a deal. We can pay half now and the balance at closing, but that's on the condition that I'm going to get the financing. Or you can pay half now and I'll pay the other half for you for equity in the deal. But this is done on the telephone. If it had $3,000, $4,000 button on this website, they're gone. And I never even have a conversation. All right. So you have this here, built in here. All right. And it's your loan packaging service. And you also have a deal analysis service. And that's where you're going to look at evaluations, term sheets, contracts, offers, and just give it your unbiased review without any objections or trying to sell anything. And in doing that, what you're doing is establishing rapport and credibility. This page is for that. And it answers the question, why are we offering this service? We have that. Submit your documents. Same thing. I mean, everything's lean and simple. And these are the services. So you can promote these services or make the services mandatory by strategically positioning the services in front of certain products. Who does that? You do that. You make that decision. And then we have the LOI creation package with a sales page. So you have the software that we're looking at, but what you realize is that there are people who would pay you to submit an LOI for them, and this page is for that purpose. So what do? You have to let people know it's available. And we do that by putting the sales page up, and you get the call for details just as before. And that covers your services here. And then, of course, you have broker registrations, where you can broker with brokers. You can work with brokers. And this is a membership site, whereas they can submit deals to you up to $2 million. But for anything over $2 million, they have to upgrade their membership. And it could be like $49 a month, $200 a year, $300 a year for deals over $2 million or for deals over $5 million. But you have to determine that if you even want to do it. You don't have to do it. All right. So that takes care of this commercial loan site pretty briefly here. All right, pretty cool. Did we scroll and see the entire site? Let's make sure we did. Okay. Yep. Loan packaging. Yep. Frequently asked questions. Yeah. Okay. So we got that done. And next, we're going to look at the property investor site. All right. Now, this is the website you use for making deals. Now, I use the consistent colors. We can make them any color you want. But this outlines a process. Now, this is the money making offers website. It tells what we buy, where we buy, from $1 to $25 million. Okay. What we purchase, where we purchase, and now process. Okay. And down here, it tells us why you should work with us, and we can work with brokers and how we work with brokers. And we have an acquisition guideline, and it's basically a summary of what we talked about. Now, this is for anyone submitting deals from the website have to register. But remember, the objective of this site is for you to make offers and to use this as a URL for your potential sellers to come check you out. They need to come here. When they come here, this is what they're going to actually see. And all you're going to do is do what you say you're going to do. This is the process that's outlined in the course. All right. What properties we buy, what we don't buy, what we will do, and how we do it. It's pretty straightforward. Property requirements. We require that the properties be at least 80% occupied. All right. Yeah, at least 80% occupied. And there's a reason for that. Because if a property is at least 80% occupied, it'll finance itself. Okay. In other words, because of what we're doing, the process, as you go through the process, you'll learn why that's here. Okay. I'm not teaching the course, just showing you the site. The required documents, and everything's straight up. Nothing's hidden. Nothing's concealed. No tricks, no games. This is what we buy. This is why we buy. This is the process. Register your company, submit your loans. Do not submit properties directly. You must register first. Why? Well, what can happen? You can have realtors. Two realtors submit the same property. How are you going to deal with that? Well, we have an issue because that's happened twice. So we have an issue on that. We'll address that here under this agent conflict resolution policy to fix that problem. Here, the agents register here, owners register here. What we're doing, you're segmenting your list and your prospects. All right, so it's pretty straightforward, but it's a simple site, and it's basically for you when you submit offers and you use this URL, your website, and when they come to the website, this is what they see. And what does that do? It gives you credibility in the marketplace. All right, that's what this website actually does. Now, let's keep it moving. Local property flipping funnel. Now, this is the site we use with the off-market property course. All right, now it's a funnel. As you notice, there are no external links anywhere. The only thing they can do here is fill out the form. All right, and then once they fill out the form, it takes them to the funnel, and it takes them to a back office. Let's make sure we're getting there on this. And because so here in this funnel, the investor that I found on Craigslist comes here, and I make sure he understands this process. And that's what he does first. In other words, here's the process. Here are the steps. He has to acknowledge that. All right. These are all cash transactions. 9, 10 steps. He has to understand the process for this to work. That's step 1. You got to make sure they understand. Next is they create a profile. Tell me about them, about their experience. It's a lot we get from that. We'll do a separate training on this, but there's a lot of information we get from this in terms of the background of the person, their experience. So it kind of gives you an idea of what you can expect from them. And then lastly, next is they tell us the type of property they're looking for. Now, what we're doing here, we got cash buyers. We want the cash buyers to basically tell us what they're looking for. And they come here and they submit the form and tell us what they're looking for. What kind of property you want. You know, and the page is sliced up for a reason. And they have to tell us that. Then what we do next is we call them up to verify that they submitted this data. And in the process, we connect and make a report. Now, we also know that from running the ads on Craigslist, we're going to end up with some people who are not cash buyers. And remember the 80, 85%, 100% financing rule that I was telling you about? Well, anyone that wants more than this, all right, then they're going to have to do the pre-underwriting thing. Which means what? Well, $1,500. And the reason being, typically people who want 100% financing or more typically can't close. Okay? And if they're looking for a business line, why would they want a business line? They can use a business line to do the flip with. You can use that. You can monetize that. And these are your business services here. All right? And that's from the dashboard. Here, we just go back to the dashboard here. And that's what this does here. And this is for the pre-underwriting. And this is for the financing options. So it's a pretty simple funnel. And it also has the back office built into it also. Okay. Now, next is our residential to investor site here. And this site is set up, and the objective is to work with residential investors, and we're going to help them buy their first, second, third, or fourth commercial property. We're going to write the offer. We're going to tell them what properties to get, where to look, what to look for, what not to look for, what will work, not, and what won't work, and give them the framework. And they require a 20% down payment. They have to have that. We can get them 80% financing all day. They have to have the 20. And in return, we're going to do the LOI. We're going to negotiate the deal. We're going to run the numbers. We're going to secure the financing. We're going to make sure. And the thing is, we already have the financing in place. Okay? But what do we require? We require a $30,000 commitment fee. That's 100% refundable at closing, and a 10% equity position. So at the closing, we're going to do a paper caper. We give you your $30,000 back. You don't have to do that. I'm just telling you, I've done that. You make it easier to work with you. We give you your $30,000 back, and we take the 10% note. So what does that look like mathematically? Well, on $1 million property, a 10% note is $100,000. So now I got a $100,000 note, and what I charge on interest on it, I'm going to charge 0 interest. It's going to be for 10 years at 0 interest, and the payments will be right at $833 a month. And that's a note I pulled out of thin air for 10 years. 0 interest. Okay. So what if the individual says, well, we need a 20-year loan? Well, I can do that, but I can't do it at 0 interest. So if we're going to do more than 10 years, then I raise the rate to 10, 12%. But at the same time, I have to make sure the cash flow is going to work, that the property doesn't have a negative cash flow. So when you're structuring the joint ventures, it's just a numbers game where you simply move numbers around. And by starting with a 0 interest loan at 10 years, you're not adding a burden on it, and the properties are typically cash flow because you don't have compounded interest on the note, and the individual is going to cash flow, and you'll do as many of these as they want to do because you're going to do the heavy lifting. You're going to deal with the lender. You're going to deal with the financing. You're going to make the offer. You're going to negotiate with the realtors or with the sellers. So you're going to be there with them. All they have to do is go find the property, give you the year-to-date income expense statements and the rent rolls, and the rest you pretty much going to handle. All right. So that's what this is for. Here is for residential investors. Of course, we can modify the content depending on the area and what service you're offering, but it's the RTC, Residential to Commercial Investor website. All right. And it also has a back office included in it. Now, this is the all-in-one business site. Now, the way this works this site has the real estate programs on it. Okay. It has 2 business financing programs, and it has a large project funding. And it's called the TBS, Total Business Package. The real estate programs, pretty much the same. General loan terms, types of properties we finance, just, content. The business programs, what are hard money loans? This is education, and at the same time, it's search engine food for Google. And it has a blog on it. And here is a contact. Tell us about your deal, what you're looking for, what you want to do. It's real simple stuff. You can contact us or call us or apply. All right. You click apply. What you have here is a smart loan built into here. This smart application where they can pick what it is they want from this page, and it'll load right in here, and they can submit it to you. All right. And you have a second business loan program. Now, this business lender portal has its own setup. The lender provides you with a page. It looks like this. Yeah. This is the page. That's what it looks like. And you dealing with sales and income, but it's ready to rock. So you can you have 2 lender programs to work with, and you even have a video on here. All right. And of course, the site will have your name on it and your phone number. But that's the second site on here. So go back up. Lost my space in my place here. And let's see, how did we do that? What did we didn't do? Did something wrong. Yeah. All right. So that was the all-in-one. Let's go back here with this. All right. And then here, you get the free consulting service, the loan packaging, the deal analysis, and the LOI creation, just like on the other side. All right. So it's the same. But what's different is that all of these pages are built into this one site, and they aren't add-on websites. Okay. So it's more compact. And then, of course, you have a blog for content, search engine food is pretty much what that is here. Articles and stuff. And you have resource. You got a fast application. You have a broker network building here where you can use registered brokers if you choose to. That's very optional. And then we have courses. You can include your own training course. You'll take the master class and you'll sell it as your own. And we just drop it in here for you in here. And we have the investor services. Now, here it links to, remember, this is the master site. Here links to our income buyer site here. All right. So everything here works together, sort of. And we also have a joint venture program. That's the residential to commercial, which is something that's relatively easy to do. It's just understanding the processes. And then we have our apprenticeship program where you can launch one if you choose to. And that's basically an application, that you use for that. And over here is the large project funding website. All right. Now, this is the 50 million and up stuff. It's a little different than your traditional real estate deal. Now, on these projects, we really rather JV with you on this. All right. A little different. So that's what we have on this master site. All right. Pretty nice package. And remember, all of them have the back office included in them. Okay. Now, let's go back and let's see where we are here. Now, we went to large project funding, did the virtual office. We looked at this. Okay. So we went through the cost on this stuff. All right. And remember these numbers, we're going to get past that. But this is what the low end of what these websites would cost individually. All right. In the large project funding site, it's $4,500. And remember, you saw where one single site was quoted at $4,000. All right. I just want you to see the value here of what we're doing. All right. But you don't have to do that on doing this webinar. This is a different deal. You do something crazy now. Now, the whole objective here is we want you to be not just buy a website. I want you to commit to being a partner on some deals, whether they are small deals or even large deals. Okay. So we're looking here at long-term players. It's in the short-term game. So if you're in it for the long haul, you're not willing to be committed to the processes, then you don't touch this. Just let it go by. Go do an AI thing. All right. But doing this webinar, any of these websites that you saw, you can get for $525. I even hate saying it. I mean, that's crazy. $525. It doesn't matter which one, any one. It's $525. And remember, the virtual office is included with all of them. You don't even pay for that. All right. And this is our setup. The $525 is a setup fee. And for any site, there's a monthly hosting fee of $69. Or if you buy that big package with 5 sites, it's $1,500. And the hosting is $89.95 a month. So you got a discount on this stuff. All right. And to order this, you use this link. You simply go there, and here's what you're going to see. You're going to come to this page, and you have to pick one. In other words, you can get the 5 sites, $89, $1,500, or you can get any single site for $69 a month with $525 setup fee. And I want you to notice that this cookie consent, you want to order that to keep your site legal and right and all. So that's how this works. Just like that. So step 1, if you currently have an account, you log in. 2, pick the package you want. And 3, pick the one you want, whether you want a 5 or a single. And the last thing you want to remember is that these are limited. It's only 20 on a deal like this. Okay. So if you want in, this is what you have to do to get in. All right. So that pretty much covers the actual setup. You can also order it from this site, but I prefer that you get it from the FinancingSites.com webinar page. Okay. Now, having said all that, I'm going to thank you for your time, and I'm going to bounce right out of here. And hey, that's what we're offering on these specials. It's not for everybody, and I get that, but it may be for you. All right. So it's Durante Parks. Thank you for watching. And remember, this is crazy because my pre-launch prices are $4,000 and $5,000 itself. I mean, the regular retail because of what we actually put in it. And I'm doing this for a short period. Snatch it. If it's something you want to do, dial in. But most importantly, if you aren't committed for the long play, then don't touch it. Seriously. Because you can get in at $525. But if you don't make the $69 a month, you lose it all. So don't risk that. So do the math, do your numbers, make the commitment. And the other thing that I didn't mention that I should mention is that when you become a customer, you have access to me. You pick the phone up and run the deal by me. We can talk. Need to talk to a client. We hit the button, dial them in, have the conversation. So I help you do the deals and work with you. at no extra cost. All right. That is a great value. Normally I charge $15,000 to $20,000 for a 12-month apprenticeship program. And that's just being available to help you do stuff. You don't have to pay that. You get that. But you have to do your best, bring your best, and commit to the process. So again, thank you for your time. And this is Durante Parks saying thank you. And hopefully I'll see you on the inside.